Hello, this is Mathew Enoch Mount. I'm here to talk to you about one of my most favorite subjects, namely my education. You see, I am arguably one of the world's most educated people with a learning disability. That's right. Having the learning disability of dyslexia and being diagnosed at a very early age. Quite frankly, the age of about 4 or 5. What was the case is that people, quite frankly, didn't think that I was going to do very well in school. My father being employed most of the time during the 80s, during the great recessionary periods, since he was a carpenter, and since carpenters normally would be unemployed during recessionary periods, he basically thought that I should go to school and that I should have just such a great drive to do so, since quite frankly I was the only one in the household that did something outside of home and outside of just doing chores for neighbors and stuff and making money that way. And so my father said, "Your work is your school." He said this because it was very hard for him to get a job, and he valued work. He valued the idea of people going outside their home and doing something with their lives. And so the fact that school was an avenue for me to do that was very important for him. But education really wasn't important in itself other than that. It was sort of like seen as work. And so from a very early age, that's the sort of teaching that I was indoctrinated with. My mother, she stayed at home. That was what she did. She didn't believe in going outside the home and doing things. So she believed in caring for the home. And she was very mentally ill. But the fact of the matter is that through that and throughout all the experiences that I had where I had to go over huge hurdles to go to school at a very early age, with my learning disability and with mobs of kids from Chicago beating me down to the ground for hours at a time, I gained a certain discipline and a certain rigor for going to school. And I just, from an early age, went and did as best as I could. My father always said, he said, the only thing that could be expected of you is the very best you can do, and no more. You can't do any more than your best. That was his basic idea, that I should just do my best, and by doing my very, very best, that's all that could be expected of me, and that I shouldn't have any sort of moral feelings of failure for not doing better if I've done my best. And so I basically took these ideas, and throughout my life I continue to go to school and have gone to school now for 12 years. And that's very significant because people with doctorate degrees, people that are university professors that went to school as traditional students for 8 years, would have normally only gone to school for 2 semesters a year for 8 years, which is 16 semesters. I, on the other hand, went to school for 3 semesters a year, which is sizably more. 3 semesters a year for 12 years. Now that's a lot more full time. And just to give you an idea of the extent of those 6 degrees, it is arguable that a person could get a master's degree. I shouldn't say arguable, but notable that a person could get a master's degree with only 30 credit hours. Now, the 7th degree I'm working on, which I'm almost done with, is is my Master's of Divinity, which requires 93 credit hours. And what that means is it's actually 3 times the degree that a person would normally have in a master's degree, 3 times the amount of study. And that is a lot compared to what other people would normally have. If you look at my 2 bachelor's degrees and my 4 associates, and the 5 college awarded certificates that I have, which I hadn't even mentioned yet, and you add them all together, you look at the total number of credit hours that I have, it far, far surpasses what a university professor would normally have in the sheer amount of time that I went to school. Now, this is very, very impressive considering the fact that when I graduated high school, I could barely read or write. That not only could I barely read or write, but I also had math skills of basically what an 8th grader would have, which is very, very low-level math. Only arithmetic-based math and some ability to do simple, very, very simple equations, which would be like a pre-algebra sort of status. And that's all I had the ability to do. And so when I went into college, I worked my math skills up from that all the way up to differential equations. That might sound crazy, but it's true. And so I went through, trigonometry, geometry, college algebra, went through the engineering and math series of calculus that most schools have, which would be calculus 1, calculus 2, calculus 3. And then I did differential equations. And not only did I do differential equations, but I had a lot of other math classes as well. In fact, by the time that I went to Southern Illinois University in Carbondale, I tried to do a calculus-based statistics class as a senior level math class. That's right, senior level math class. Now that's pretty impressive for a guy that graduated high school with just the ability to do simple equations. To do a senior level math class, that would be a major degree requirement for a Bachelor of Science degree in mathematics, which I never got. So, needless to say, one of the things that I can also tell you is that not only do I have 6 degrees, but I had tried for other degrees as well and was unsuccessful. In fact, if you look at my whole history of going to college, you'll find that I was very unsuccessful in a lot of things and had to keep trying and trying and trying and trying before I succeeded. It's one of the things that if you want to be successful in anything, you may find is very necessary. That you have to try, fail, try, fail, try, fail, try, fail, try, fail, try, fail. Just keep trying, just keep failing. And eventually, after you've tried and failed for a very long period of time, at some point you will succeed. I mean, it's only bound to happen. Statistically, if you just try enough, you will succeed. It's like buying enough lottery tickets. It's actually the case you're more likely to die in an automobile accident than you are to win the lottery. But, needless to say, you get the idea. You want to try and try and try and try and try and try and try until you succeed.